Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Thiesel, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge television, radio, and podcast talk show. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, beginning at 2 p.m. on the Eastern Time Zone as I get to ride home with you in the afternoon. You can find us on television 2 different ways. I'm really excited about that. You can find us on Abundance Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And don't forget the podcast on thenewscasters.com. You may also find us on Channel 182, and that's on Charter Communications in North Alabama. Real proud to be affiliated there, in WZLA radio station, which is located right here in Abbeville, South Carolina, the biggest country station around. And they play the good stuff. I'm telling you, the stuff in the 1970s and 80s, and even earlier than that. But again, thank you so much for watching. I love your emails, Donna@donnasedge.com, Donna@donnasedge.com. So we're celebrating 21 years of the show, and it's just been a whole fun. I love doing it. It's not work at all, and I get to give information to you. Most of the information comes from you, although the ideas that you send me in forms of email or text. Again, that's Donna@donnasedge.com. Now, everybody knows I love flowers, and I love gardening. It's just, I don't know, it's my happy place. You know, you get to get out there, and that's another thing that I can do with the show. And so I can have the happy time out in the garden, and I can talk with you about different things that are absolutely good for you. Now, I wanted to talk to you about marigolds. Now, most people just think of a marigold as something that would be an insect deterrent out in your garden, which is a grand idea. Or maybe those marigolds are those pretty little flowers your grandmother used to have out in her yard. But there's more to it than that. Actually, you can eat them. You can put them in salads. You can do all kinds of great things with them. But I wanted to talk to you about the medicinal properties of the marigold. But before I do that, I want to show you something. So I am, everybody knows I make salves and I have oils and tinctures and things like that. But I wanted to show you what I did. And now this is, and it's pretty heavy. I've got it in a pretty big jar. So this, I don't know if you can see it, you can get close enough to it, but these are flowers that came from my marigolds. Okay, now what am I doing with them? Okay, I've got them sitting in oil. The longer it sits, the better quality you're going to have of your salves or whatever you're going to use this for. But now what I put, you have to mix it with an oil. You want to make sure that the flowers are really clean. But I will tell you something, after a rain shower, and in the springtime of the year, like we're having right now, a lot of pollen. If you can get them after the shower and then pollen is on those flowers, it's like heaven. I mean, it's just absolutely amazing what this can do for your skin. So what I put in this, clean them really good, make sure they're cleaned, and then you want to dry them. Now you can air dry. I've done that a lot. You just set it out on a screen, or it's got to be lifted up above a table. I mean, you can put it on a table. Now, if you do put it on a table, you need to put some kind of wax paper or something down. And this is another issue. It could, if you're not really careful, like you've got open windows or whatever, some dust could come through and get on those marigolds. You don't want that to happen either. But what I like to do is dry mine naturally. Now, you can put them in a dehydrator if you would like to do that. I've done that many times. I don't know. I like just the plain old air drying of these things. But it's beautiful. And you can see the oil that I've used. I don't know if you can see it's turning kind of a dark color. Now, the oils I used the olive oil. Now, I used mostly olive oil. So about, with this jar right here, about 70% of this jar is olive oil. And then the 2 remaining are the argan oil. I like argan, and I also love castor oil. Now, the only thing about castor oil is it is super thick. And so you want something to kind of water it down, and I'm watering it down basically with olive oil and with argan oil. Okay, so you're looking at about 70% of olive oil, and then the other remaining 25% is a combination of argan and castor. So I used less castor now than I used of the argan oil because I don't want it really, really thick because it won't sit on your skin. It just depends on your skin type. I'm still oily. I still have oily skin. So I prefer to go with less castor. And I think most of my customers have told me the same thing. Okay. So you clean, you got to dry them. Now I make mine super heavy. Okay. And what I mean by super heavy is it's going to have a lot of the flour in the jar. Now, a lot of folks, what they'll do, and it's good, you can do this, it's no problem, but they'll fill maybe half of a jar with the flour. We can see mine's all the way up to the top. So I'll put the flowers in there once I know they're clean, and they've got to be completely dry. And let me tell you why they have to be dry. Now, you can't have any moisture in this. And this creates longevity in what you're putting together here. Okay, because no mold. See, if there's any water, well, then the water can actually create mold over time. Well, I mean, I make a lot of salve, so it doesn't stay that long. But if you take good care of it, the flowers are completely dry. You add the oils. You want to stir it, or you can shake it about every single day. Sometimes I just walk by and just shake it and just turn it upside down. Use a wooden spoon, by the way, which is what I like to do, and just give it a really good stir. Now, it's really important if you're going to put as many flowers as I do in mine, you need to make sure that all of the flowers are covered. Now, that's whether you're going to use marigolds or anything, whatever you're going to use. But you can do this with roses. Roses are absolutely medicinal and wonderful for your skin. I mean, what do you think people did 2,000 years ago? I think it's what God gave us right here. So now I have extremely sensitive skin. So that's why I started making my own salves and face creams. I kind of had to. So a friend gave me for Christmas some Estee Lauder face cream. And it's awesome. I mean, I love the brand and it's good for everybody but me. I mean, it just doesn't go anywhere with me. I start getting breakout if I use anything other than my products. I don't know why it's that way. Let's talk a little bit about the key medicinal properties of marigolds. Okay, so I've written it down here, sent myself a message because I want to make sure I don't miss anything. It's really important. Again, marigolds. Okay, now, and you can get two different varieties. There's several different varieties of marigolds. I happen to like the petite flowers a little bit better than I like the bigger ones. And I also like to use in the garden, especially, because marigolds are going to keep your little critters out that you don't want in your garden. They'll do that. There's a particular scent that it emits out. Birds don't like it. Rats don't like it. I keep marigolds all over the place because I live out in the country. If you live out in the country, you're going to have bugs and you're going to have all kinds of little stinky creatures you really don't want to have as pets. So marigolds are really good for that. I've got pretty close to 100 plants that I planted from seed. And by the way, it is so easy to do. And those little flowers, you think, well, that's not going to turn into anything. The little flowers, you take them apart. That's what's in here. And then somewhere around February is when I usually get started. And I'll go ahead and put them in some soil. I'm talking some really good garden soil. And you'd be amazed at what comes out of one of those tiny, tiny little seeds. It's amazing. And it's a great project you can do at home with your kids or with your grandkids, or if you babysit somebody and the kids are a little out there. If you will set them down and teach them seeds, teach them growing plants, they're going to be yours forever. That's what my grandmother used to do. She just sit me down and talk to me about seeds. Now, let's talk about the anti-inflammatory. Marigolds contain flavonoids that also reduce inflammation on your skin. So this is useful for swollen skin if you start getting rashes and minor issues. Now, often applied as creams, oils, or salves. And I wanted to show you a cream, and I love the color of the cream. It turns into a really pretty, I don't know if you can see it that well, but this cream is kind of a dark orangey look right here, and I love the way it goes on. And you can make this stuff. And so as you'll see, I'm putting it topical on my skin. Now, you don't want to eat this. Okay, don't eat this. Okay, so this is topical only. And I'll give you a recipe to that in just a few minutes. But I just love the way it's smooth and it goes on. Now, it goes on just a little bit oily. And within just a few minutes, it just sinks down into your skin. But that's because I use beeswax. We're beekeepers as well. So I use beeswax in here as well. And there's just something about that beeswax, and the beeswax kind of hardens it. And I'm going to give you a little tip too. So if you're interested in making your own creams and chapsticks and stuff like that, if you would like to turn it into a chapstick, go on your lips or whatever, you can put it in these little pots, or you can get these little tubes. You can put those in. You can find them like on Amazon, places like that. If you use for a salve, you don't want it to be like really hard. You want it to be just like what I have it here in this container right here. But now for a chapstick, I don't want it to be like that. I want it to be hardened, especially if I forget and leave it out in the car, especially during the hot summer months. Just use a little bit more of the beeswax beads. Or some people use beads, or you can, don't put a block in there. You need to really shave it, because the block is going to take forever to harden. Okay, let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about wound healing. That a marigold, just those beautiful flowers your grandmother used to have. It's also known as calendula. Calendula, you're seeing it now in some of the Walmarts and places like that, where they're actually using, now this is the only thing about buying it, okay, in a big store. It's not regulated. And what I mean by that is it may have a big label on it that says marigolds or calendula or whatever herb that they have there. Nothing regulates that. You need to really look at the ingredients on the label. And a lot of them, the first ingredient you're going to see, first of all, is a bunch of stuff you can't even pronounce what it is. And if you see water, okay, it's going to be probably mostly water. And they may not have, but maybe 1% of that entire jar would be your marigold or your calendula or whatever plant. So make sure you check that out. Now, if you're looking on the label and it says marigolds, okay, it means that most of the product ingredient in that would be whatever the first thing you see is going to be what the content is most of. Okay, so make sure you think about that. Now, wound healing. Okay, I'm outside all the time. My legs look terrible because I've cleared out a whole bunch of rose bushes, and they were like really, really thorny. I wore shorts instead of wearing pants. I should have worn my blue jeans. But anyway, I got a whole bunch of scratches on my legs. So what I started doing is just putting my salves on it, and it healed it up. So you get a bee sting, bee bite, whatever. These are really, really good. Kids hanging around outside and get bit by a wasp. Wonderful stuff that you can use here. Okay, so calendula, marigolds, are really known for speeding up a wound healing, and I'll tell you why it does that. So it promotes the tissue repair and the collagen production, which is why I like using it on my face. Also helps with cuts, scrapes, burns, and insect bites. Now, you can also make a tincture out of this. And if you do that now, and put it in a dropper form, and I'll brought one with me right here. Okay, so this is what I use right here for a tincture. And I'll have to tell you this, the difference between a tincture and a salve. Okay, a tincture, they're both topical, okay, first of all. But a tincture is much more potent than a salve is. And what happens, especially if you have a deep cut, you want to use a salve and not the tincture, because the tincture is really going to get in there, and that's going to be too much of the good stuff. So what you want to do is, with a tincture, a drop at a time. I'm just telling you, because a tincture usually is made with some kind of alcohol. And when I'm not talking about rubbing alcohol, not like that. You can also use vinegar if you don't want alcohol. But using about an 80 proof vodka is what does it. Now, we'll tell you this, tinctures last forever. They can absolutely last for decades. So I recommend it. Keep it up in the medicine cabinet away from your kids. And then let's pretend I have a cut. I may have a cut somewhere because I've been out in the garden so much. I don't see one right now. I guess they're healed up. But let's just say you have a little cut. Okay. I'm just telling you, a drop will do it. That's it. And just put that on there. Now, a deep cut, you don't want to do that. You want to use your salve. And believe me, I do that all the time out working outside too. So I know I was doing something with a saw, and like a ninny, I wasn't watching what I was doing, and I did cut quite a gap. And I have done the tincture on a big gaps cut before. Don't do it. You will be screaming. All the neighbors will come and see what's wrong with you. They'll think you're dying, but it does. It's a deep, deep cut, and it will sting just a little bit. That's why I would much rather use on a deep cut, use a salve, because that stays in tune with what you need. Let me see what time it is. Oh, yeah, we're past a break. Let's go into a commercial break, and we're going to be right back in just a few minutes. Y'all hang in there with me. We'll talk a little bit more about Marigolds. Queen City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. You know, finding the right home isn't just about bedrooms and square footage. It's about comfort, security, and the feeling you get the moment you walk through the door. That's why so many families across Greenwood and the Lakelands area trust Jenny Ferguson with Keller Williams. And I'll tell you from personal experience, Jenny was my realtor, and she truly cares about her clients. Jenny takes the time to listen, to understand what matters most, and to guide you every step of the way, whether you're buying your first home, upgrading, or ready to sell. Because this isn't just a transaction, it's your life. With local knowledge, personal care, and a commitment to getting it right, Jenny Ferguson makes the process simple and even enjoyable. So if you're thinking about buying or selling, now's the time to make your move. Call Jenny Ferguson with Keller Williams in Greenwood today and take the next step toward a place you'll truly love coming home to. Are you looking for skincare that feels as good as it smells? Discover Automa Naturals, located inside the Anderson Mall, your go-to for locally made organic hair and body products. From handcrafted soaps to nourishing body oils, every item is made with care using ingredients your skin will truly love. No harsh chemicals, just simple, natural goodness you can trust. Stop by Automa Naturals today and experience the difference for yourself. Automa Naturals, natural beauty made local. Good afternoon, sunshine. Medical Minute brought to you by Dr. Chuck with Lakeland's Chiropractic, where an ounce of prevention is worth what? A pound of cure. So what is the Beamer? Okay, now the Beamer uses very gentle pulse to electromagnetic signals. This will stimulate healthy muscles and it supports the temporary blood flow. Now let's talk Beamer and circulation support. Now the Beamer gently supports natural circulation in healthy muscles. Now that's what I call natural health. Thank you so much for watching your Medical Minute, brought to you by Dr. Chuck. You know who he's with. He's with Lakeland's Chiropractic, where an ounce of prevention is worth what? A pound of cure. I hope you have a super duper awesome rest of the afternoon. You take care. Okay, we're back. My name is Donna, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge television, radio, and podcast talk show. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, beginning at 1 or 2 p.m. on the Central Time Zones or Eastern Time Zones. I get to ride home with you in the afternoon. Boy, I have some customers and folks who sponsor the show who live in the Alabama area. So I have to remember, let's see, Central, we're Eastern. Okay, but anyway, 2 p.m. on the Eastern time zone is going to do it for you. And we're talking about Marigolds, and we're also talking about the anti-inflammatory, what it does for you. Useful for the swollen skin and skin rashes, minor injuries, that kind of thing, often applied as creams, oils, or salves. Now, if you're looking at it for wound healing, it promotes the tissue repair and collagen production, again, which is why I like to use it on my face as well. Now, if you use it on your face, I'm just telling you, just a tiny bit goes a very long way. And I use it at night. The first thing I do, though, I wash my skin, take up makeup, because I wear a ton of makeup when I'm on the show that I don't typically wear when you see me out on the street somewhere. And so it takes you wash all that stuff off, and then you'll want to apply your skin cream. Now, if you have serums, you can make serums with this as well. And that's all that is just plain old oil that you have let set for a few months. I let mine set in the jar, like I was showing you earlier in the program. I let it sit in the jar at least 3 months, but I really don't want to. I would rather keep it in there 6 months. Okay, it's going to make a thicker and a more potent serum when you do it that way. Now, we're talking about the wound healing, helps with cuts, scrapes, burns, and insect bites. Kids are going to be out there outside. They're going to run into some of those, wasp and that kind of thing. So make sure you keep some of this on hand. Now, let's also talk about the antifungal properties of marigolds. Extracts can inhibit bacteria and fungi. It helps prevent infection in minor wounds, sometimes used for skin conditions like athlete's foot as well. Now, I'm going to tell you, this stuff is really good on your feet. So if you'll soak your feet, maybe in Epsom salt, something like that, for about 15 minutes, dry your feet off really well, and put some of this salve or just use the oil on your feet. Put some socks on. It's good to get like some old grocery bags or whatever, plastic bags, and put those on your feet, and then put the socks on. And I'm just telling you, it does a quality job, better than anywhere you can go and have that done. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Now, extracts can inhibit bacteria and fungi. We talked about that. It helps prevent infection in minor wounds. Now, sometimes used for skin conditions like athlete's foot. Now, let's talk about skin soothing. This is another thing I love about it. Very gentle on your skin. Now, if you have eczema, dermatitis, kids have diaper rash, this is great for that. Common and natural skincare products like I use. Okay, digestive support. Now, when you take marigold internally, usually as a tea, you need to dry the leaves, you can do that. Or you can make a tea with the fresh flowers. Let me tell you how you do. You need to clean them really good, okay? Put them in whatever, a cup. I have a little thing I use. It's almost like a tall jar, and it also has a little filter system in it where I put my flowers in it, and you can use dried or fresh. It doesn't matter. Let it seep all day, like for several hours. Now, what you'll do, put the flowers in whatever the container is. And then another thing that you'll also absolutely do is boiling water. Boil the water, pour that boiling water on top of those flowers. And it tastes so good. It almost has this kind of a citry, kind of a earthy taste. Citry, earthy, does that make sense? And it tastes so good, and it's so soothing. When you've been working hard all day, take a bath, and then maybe a salt bath, and then drink some tea while you're in the bath. I'm just going to tell you, you can be relaxed. Guys, if she's a little ill and grouchy when she comes home, or girls, if he's a little ill and grouchy when he comes home, have a bath ready, have the tea ready. There'll be putty in your hands the rest of the evening, I promise you. Okay, now, digestive support. When taken internally again as a tea, it can soothe your stomach irritation. It also helps with ulcers and mild digestive inflammation. Now, another thing, I wish I'd known this back in the day, menstrual support. Traditionally used to help regulate your menstrual cycles. Like, I never knew when I was going to start. You know what I mean? I could have used it back then. It eases the cramps due to the mild antispasmodic effects of marigolds. Now, another thing is immune support. It contains the antioxidants that help protect cells from oxidative stress. Also supports general immune function. Now, again, I've talked just a few minutes ago about what you use it for. Okay, common uses would be creams, ointments, infused oils, which is what you see right here. Tea, you want dried petals steeped in hot water. Again, you can use the fresh flowers if you'd like to do that. It's just not something that's going to, say, keep, because it's a natural product. Your dried petals are going to keep, as far as keep, I'm talking about preservation. It's going to keep a lot longer than if you use just the flowers that you just pick and you've done nothing to those. Okay. Tinctures make concentrated liquid extracts. And I don't know if you can see or not. What did I do with my tincture? Oh, right here it is. Okay, so the tincture, it's almost an orangey looking color. I don't know if you can see that, but it's almost an orange color, and it's extremely concentrated. Now, you can actually, kids can take this and just give them like one drop. That's all you do. Now, if you'll put the drop of the tincture under your tongue, just under the tongue, and just let it set for just a few seconds, 10, 15 seconds is long enough, and then just swallow it on down. Somehow it works with the nervous system under your tongue. So it's going to work a whole lot better that way. Okay, now let's see, how much time do I have left? Ooh, I'm going to have to hurry. When I talk to you, I just forget what time it is. Okay, we talked about the topicals and creams, ointments, and infused oils. And then the tea, we talked about the dried petals steeped in hot water. You can use fresh petals, but you need to use it within a couple of days. That's what I meant to tell you earlier. Now, tinctures, concentrated liquid extracts, we talked about that. Now, let's talk about safety notes, okay? It's not for everybody. Generally safe for most people when used topically. Now, avoid if allergic to plants in the daisy family. I have never met anybody who was, but they have been. Apparently, they wouldn't have put this in here. Now, consult a healthcare professional before internal use if you're pregnant or on medication. I know Mother was taking about 6 different kinds of medications, prescriptions, and I was really nervous about taking anything internally with her. Now she's down to just one, which is great. But it's perfectly fine to use it topically if someone is on some kind of medication like that. Okay, consult a healthcare professional again. I'm going to mention that to you again if you're pregnant or if you're on medication. Okay, now, not all marigolds are the same. This is something else I wanted to mention to you. The ones on the calendula scale, those are the most medicinally valuable. Okay, now Tagetes, it's Tagetes, is a common garden marigold. They're mainly ornamental with more limited medicinal use, but they're still good, and they're so good on your skin as well. So I'm just happy to give this to you, but I wanted to give you the salve recipe before we go, and I've got just 2 minutes to do this. Okay, now this is what you need. 1 cup of dried calendula flowers, marigolds. You want 1 cup of carrier oil. It can be olive. And the reason I like olive is because it is a very thin oil. So olive, coconut, or almond oil. You want 1 to 2 tablespoons of beeswax pellets. That's what's going to make it harden, kind of. And then optional is a few drops of essential oils like a lavender. And that's usually what I do. My husband Phil likes this orange essential oil that I have, and I put that in almost everything for him because that's his favorite. Now you'll infuse the oil. It's best to just let it in the jar, let it infuse. But other ways you can do it would be on the stovetop. You really got to watch it. Don't let it get like very hot. Take you about 3 hours on top of the stove. What you can do is just get just a regular pot, and then you might want to put something in the bottom of it. You'll put the flowers, and you'll also put the oil in the jar, and you'll put it on top of I usually just get a lid, like the lid that's on this jar, top of that lid right there. And I usually just put that in the bottom. That keeps the jar from breaking. So it's going to take several hours to do that. So you've really got to watch the water. And also I would keep it on the lowest heat possible. You need to do that as well. I got to go. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions about the show, all you've got to do is send an email, Donna@donnasedge.com. That's Donna@donnasedge.com. I'll be glad to get your email and answer it just as soon as possible. Remember, now I get a lot of emails, so sometimes it takes a day or two before I can respond and get everybody taken care of, but I will. And I do treasure your emails. Thank you again so much for watching.